Welcome to Autism Knows No Borders, a podcast where people connected to autism inspire change and build community. Together with the Global Autism Project, I'm your host, Rachel Harmon, a professional with over a decade of experience in the field of autism services, outreach, and advocacy. This episode with Maggie Nunez was originally released on July 8th, 2021. Hello, everyone. Our guest today is Maggie Nunez. Originally from Dominican Republic and currently living in New Jersey, Maggie is a mother of three, two of whom are autistic. Her sons Dariel and Alvin are 16 and 13 years old. As a cancer survivor, Maggie hopes to encourage other parents to prioritize their own health in order to effectively take care of their children. In today's conversation, we discuss her two sons' autistic strengths, challenges her son Dariel has overcome, thinking about her children's future, what motherhood has taught her about herself, autism acceptance in Dominican culture, her family's supportive attitude, and advice for other parents. In this episode, discover what's possible when taking care of yourself lets you take care of others. For more information about Maggie, please visit our show notes at autismknowsnoborders.com. And now, I present you, Maggie Nunez. Hi, Maggie. Welcome to Autism Knows No Borders. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, Rachel. It's my pleasure.
Could you please briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Maggie Nunez. I'm from Fair Lawn, New Jersey. I'm the mother of three children, two of whom are autistic, Samantha, Dariel, and Alvin.
Okay. How old are your kids?
Samantha is 20, Dariel is 16, and Alvin is 13.
Okay. So tell us about your children, especially the ones with autism. What are some of their interests? First, could you clarify which ones are on the spectrum?
On the spectrum is Dariel and Alvin. They love electronics. They love restaurants, family time.
Mm. What's their relationship like?
You mean Dariel and Alvin or the three of them?
The three of them, yeah.
They get along pretty well. Sammy and Dariel would interact the most since Dariel is verbal and Dariel is more high functioning. Usually she would take him out to buy lunch, to spend time together. She's always working. So whenever she has a day off and she feels that they haven't been engaging much, she'll take him out to eat. And Dariel and Alvin, Dariel is very caring. He cares for his brother, but they don't really have that big bond. They care for each other, but since they have different interests and their ages is different too. You know, if we go to the park, if I ask Dariel, go play with Alvin, Dariel will go watch Alvin, but Alvin doesn't really engage, in the playing. Alvin just wants to do whatever he wants to do. So it's hard to really get Alvin attention and be like, Alvin, let's play ball. You might throw the ball at, for him to catch, but he might run around because something else got his attention. So it's the relationship that they have is more like caring and watching over, and trying to engage, but sometimes they will click, they will be playing. And then other time, Alvin would just be totally distracted.
How does Alvin communicate?
He was nonverbal, but then he started, his speech is very limited. If he wants to go to a restaurant, he would say, I want restaurant, please. Or he'll say, I want park. And if I ask him, use your words nicely, he'll say, I want to go park. But if I don't tell him to use his words nice, cover the proper way, he'll just be, I want food or I want park. or I won't pull.
Okay. So what are some of their strengths related to autism?
They're willing. They're always willing. Sometimes you spend too much time in your own head. And if you stop your thoughts and you would listen, and you know that somebody's trying to help you, you would go along. And they're willing to listen, to get instruction, to follow through. But sometimes it's you against the distraction, whatever distraction they have. But once you get their attention and their focus, you're able to work with them. I would also say that they're very, very loving and kind. And what else? They're very savvy when it comes to technology.
Like helping you get on this Zoom call?
Yes.
So how does autism affect their lives?
Ooh. It's hard to answer that question, Rachel, because you'll be under my opinion, my perspective. And they might have a different answer than me, because it's how it affects them directly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ask me, Alvin is the happiest boy. If you give him food and electronics, he is all in. He is very motivated by food, and he's a happy boy. So he wakes up every morning excited, ready to go, like full of energy. You don't see nothing, like him feeling limited because he's autistic. He's just ready. And when it comes to Dariel, I would say it has affected him the most, because he is aware of the diagnosis, and he have been through so much on his journey, from knowing that he was autistic, from not being able to control a lot of his emotions and everything that was happening, the school system as well, So to be honest, I'm Dariel's biggest fan. Mm. He has been through so much, and everything that he has overcome. I have so much respect and admiration for him. That's all I can say.
Yeah. What were some of those challenges that he overcame?
Dariel was placed in a out-of-district school, because when he was in the regular school system in district, they couldn't meet his needs. So they had to send him to an out-of-district school. Being in that environment and not feeling comfortable and not feeling happy where he was, but yet, I'm thinking he's in the right placement because of how he's acting. So it took a long time and a lot of moving from different town, different school system, for me to really talk to him, for different services, for him to actually be able to show me that he was ready, for me to trust that he could function in industry school. So that was one of the challenges that he faced, and he overcame. And also he was depressed. He suffered from bullying in the school, one of the school that he was, and going through different psychiatrists, different appointments. I was actually told that he needed to be hospitalized because he was making threats. They felt that it was safe for him to be in the hospital for a few days.
What was that like for you to take him to the hospital?
It was the hardest thing, to be honest, because at that time I had an illness. I had cancer in my stomach. I was diagnosed with gastric cancer, but it was only the cancer cells that I had. So I had to be in the hospital for 35 days. away from home and away from the children. And at that time, Dariel was very confused, very anxious with the school, not being happy in the school. But yet, I still didn't know if taking him out of that school was the right thing to do, because I'm like, what do I do? I would talk to him and I told him that it's not up to me. It's up to how he would behave. Because if he didn't change his ways and the way he was behaving, he wasn't going to be able. You have to help yourself in a way. If he didn't feel that that was the right place for him, and if he knew that that school was for kids with behavior challenges, then he would have to control his behavior and his emotions. But then Daria would control his emotions in the school. And when he would get home, he would explode.
Hmm.
So it was difficult for me because every time that I would go to the school, he's great. They would say he's amazing, but in the house, it was a different child.
Were you getting any support at home?
At home, I did. He had therapy. Dariel had services for his behavior. He never liked therapists. He felt that they'll take too much of his time. He had a thing. He felt like if they'll come for an hour, that hour he missed from doing whatever he wanted to do.
Mm.
So that was always difficult. But then he would, most of the therapy session, it was hard to really connect with him because his mind was so upset because they took his time.
What kind of therapy was it?
It was behavior therapy, and kind of like counseling at the same time.
Mm. So after you took him to the hospital, was he better?
Absolutely. That did it for him. To me, I felt terrible leaving him there, but it was to a point where I would take him to the psychiatrist and they'll tell me that I should take him to the hospital if he continues to make threats. But I kind of thought to myself, he's only saying it just to say it. I know my child, he's not going to do that. But at the same time, I wouldn't know how much stress he had or how overwhelmed he was. And he only take a minute for someone to do something, and he was making threats about his life.
Mm.
And it was difficult, Rachel. It was very difficult. Leaving him there, it was hard. He actually changed his perspective. It was like something that he needed because coming out of the hospital, he had to follow up with another service that I had to drop him off for like 2 times a week, another program where it's like a group with the different kids. Like first they will be in the hospital and then they'll send him to follow up. And I guess he was able to look back and he knew that that was not a good place to be.
Mm.
He missed his family. He missed home. He was there for 5 days. So that separation, he has never slept out of the house. So that was a big thing. After being in that program for a few months, I've never had to call on services for Dariel. He went back to school like a different person.
Mm.
Since I saw progress in his behavior, I spoke with the school system, with the child study team, and I was able to really advocate so that he could be transferred into the in-school district, which I have no regrets because coming in district, Dariel has done amazing. He has been in an another honor student. And from when he was small, going into that school, needing somebody to be behind him from point A to B. From me to see my son walking to school on his own, now it's I have no words. I have no words.
Well, that's amazing that he was able to overcome that and choose something else. Sometimes with autistic people, it's so hard because they feel misunderstood from people around them. And it's like putting so much pressure on them to change when really if, the teachers around him or the community were able to support him in a way to accept him and help him know that it's not him, like there's nothing wrong with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like they just we need to listen to them sometimes, but sometimes it's hard because it's their behavior and their actions. And in order for you to trust them, it's a difficult decision to make. But with him, I saw everything he was going through. I saw pain in his eyes. He was not in a good place. Sometimes it's hard. You don't know when you're helping by stopping services, or when you need to call back on services.
Yeah. As a mother, those are really hard decisions to make.
Absolutely.
So when this happened to Dariel, how old was he? Like early teens?
This happened to Dariel, I would say 3 years ago.
Okay.
Almost 3 years ago. That's like 2.5.
Right. And so adolescence is just challenging for almost everyone.
For everyone.
Yeah. And as you were saying, some kids deal with depression, anxiety, trying to fit in at school or in different environments. And we actually have a question from one of our community members related to this topic. Her name is Mary Johnston, and she wants to know, what's the best anxiety resource for your sons?
The best anxiety resource? I don't know. I would say is us, the parents. That works for me, because if I would bring somebody in the house to try to calm him down, Dariel down, because with Alvin, he doesn't really show much anxiety. In order for you to de-escalate from your anxiety, you have to feel comfortable. And if you're not willing to talk to somebody else or listen, it has to be with someone close to you or that you will connect. To de-escalate his anxiety, I would say I'll tell him to go to the bathroom, to wash his face, to take deep breath in and out, or go outside for a walk. If he wants me to go with him for a walk, we could go for a walk. And it has helped. Or to let whatever is inside of him, to let it out. And I would always tell him, after you speak about it, you're going to feel much better. And it has helped.
What do you think about when you consider their future?
To be honest, I try to take it one day at a time. I don't like to really stress myself much with thoughts. But I see a bright future, especially for both of them. But Dariel has turned his life around in such a way that I see him living a normal life, independent. He actually has his permit. I'm going to see if I can get him to take classes to maybe get his license.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a bright future for both of them.
Does Dariel have friends now?
He has some. That's one of the main things with him. Is socially, he isn't much. He won't really start conversation, but if you engage him, he would answer whatever you're saying, or he would engage. So he has some friends, but it's online. Before the pandemic, when he used to go to that out of district school, he has some kids in there that he'll get along, and I would drop him off so for some play days sometimes. But after the pandemic, that everybody's home, he hasn't been really socializing much.
Yeah, it's been hard for everyone.
Absolutely.
Does Alvin receive any services now?
At this moment, he's not.
Okay. Are you preparing him for also living independently?
We are. In the school that he goes to, they're amazing. Their life skill teacher, his main teacher, she's great. So they are teaching him how to do his laundry, how to use the dishwasher, how to use the microwave, and we work close together. So if he's doing something in the school, I try to practice it here at home with him, and he's learning how to do his laundry. He does chores for me, like, Alvin, let's sweep the floor.
Mm-hmm.
He tried. Life skills, to me, is for him to do things on his own is very important. But as far as if he's really able to live on his own, I don't know. Because he has a lot more limitations than Dariel does. Alvin needs eyes on him all the time. He's not aware of danger. What can I say? There was a time that he was able to open the door and he ran out of the house. He have done this a few times. And when he was smaller, now he sees the door open, he closes the door.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's to a point where I cannot say, oh, I feel safe if my eyes are not on him. He needs eyes on him all the time.
Okay. What have you learned about yourself from being a mother?
What have I learned? I'm learning something every day. What have I learned? Rachel, I was not raised by my mother. I was raised by my grandmother in Dominican Republic. My grandmother had 10 kids of her own, and 4 of her kids had special needs. And I never had that one mother to daughter attention. And being to be a mom, I first needed to learn how to mother my own self.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that my grandmother didn't do a fantastic job. She did whatever she could, and I'm so grateful for her to this day. But being a mother and having 2 diagnosed back to back and learning about autism and finding resources and doing the very best that I can every day, I've learned that I'm much more stronger than what I thought I was. I'm able to face challenges and overcome them. So, and I'm still able to try my very best to be positive and self-motivated, because at the end of the day, you can read 100 positive quotes if you can read them, but if you don't make an effort in your everyday to do the best, to wake up and do what you have to do, regardless of how you might be feeling.
Yeah. Hey, Rachel here. Do you know anyone else who might benefit from listening to this episode? Maybe an autistic person wanting to grow their community, a parent wanting to support their loved one, or a professional wanting to develop their skills. I encourage you to share this episode if you'd like to help them out. And now, back to the conversation. So, did you grow up in Dominican Republic?
I came to this country when I was 14.
Okay. Did you know about autism before having your first son?
No idea what it was.
Okay. So actually, we have a partner in Dominican Republic, one of our global autism partners. She's in Santo Domingo. She has an autism center there.
Oh, wow.
But from your experience being, I guess, Dominican American, having both cultures mixed, what do you think is the level of acceptance and understanding of autism within the Dominican culture? especially in the US?
I would say that to a lot of parents, acceptance and acknowledging that their kids have special needs sometimes take longer because they think that the kid is fine. They might be showing some red flags here and there, but they still think that no, they don't need no therapy. They're fine. They're fine. And I feel that the earliest that you can see that your kid needs some therapy or to be evaluated is so beneficial for them. So I feel that I'm on, like my culture, Dominicans, or I don't know. It could happen in other cultures too.
Mm-hmm.
But accepting that there's something wrong, that they might need help, is difficult.
How did you finally come to accept your son's autism?
I embraced it. I accept it because that's the best thing you can do. With Dariel, when I was told he was autistic, I just listened to the evaluation and I was able to, because sometimes they might be showing some red flags, but we don't even see them. But once you take them to the doctor and the doctor would point certain things and you look at them and you'd be like, oh my God, it's true. I wasn't paying attention to that. I accept it because that's my son. I love him. And I am here to do whatever is necessary for him to be happy, to be okay.
And how about with Alvin? Did you get an evaluation early on? Did you see some signs right away?
Dariel was more delayed into walking. Dariel was more delayed in saying his first words. So with Alvin, everything was different. I was paying more attention because I had already known about Dariel. So he was very alert. Everything was going great with him. And then when he turned 2 years old, he froze. He stopped making eye contact. He just was in his own bubble, his own world.
And how did their father respond? Was he also accepting right away?
Yes, we were. We actually went for genetic testing since both of them were diagnosed back to back. They suggested us to do the testing and it came back negative. But we've both worked really close in helping them. It's not about us. It's about them. It's what we can do to make everything better for them. We have been moving from different towns, trying to find a good school system for Dariel and Alvin. And we live for these boys.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I tried for my family too, for us to be genuine, for us to keep it real. If you're upset about something, let's talk about it. Let's see how we can work it out. Because to be honest, Rachel, when you have a diagnosis in one family, the whole family is affected. The whole family is affected in so many different ways. And if we don't communicate and let things out, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it work. I've been with my husband for 20 years. And having a kids with special needs, I believe 75% or maybe 80% of the couples, they end up getting divorced or separating. I'm not going to tell you that everything has been great. We've had our ups and downs in all areas, but we fix things instead of breaking or everybody going their way. Let's see how we can do better. Let's pick each other up when one is down. Let's keep it real.
How do you take care of yourself?
Oh, Lord. How do I take care of myself? Well, I try my best. I take care of myself by keeping my mental space, my circle of people that I surround myself with. I try to be careful about, because I'm very sensitive. I can absorb more than what I need. So I try to be surrounded by great people, positive people. I love to go to the gym. That's like my outlet. I feel like we all need something that we love to do and to make sure that we don't compromise that time. Like, to me, going to the gym is my therapy. And reading books, listening to podcasts, that's another way of me taking care of myself. Not doing the dishes if I don't want to. Because sometimes we think that by taking care of yourself is by going to the salon and doing your nails. That's taking care of yourself as well. I do that sometimes, don't get me wrong. But it could also be saying no to an invitation that you get, because you know that you're going to feel better by not going to that place. It could be by not being friends with somebody that is draining you, because you know that if somebody's going to be draining you, you're not going to be mentally okay, because you're giving too much of your energy to somebody that is not even.
You give your energy to someone who maybe is taking too much energy out of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's important too to have some friends, like us as autism moms. We need like a support system, to have friends where you disconnect from the kids, from home, where you can vent. Where going out with my friends is another thing that I don't negotiate. We go out at least once a month. We go for coffee, we go for lunch, for dinner. It's so important. I don't have a lot of friends, but I do have a few that have been so helpful, to have there, to disconnect, to talk, to catch up. Because sometimes, when, for me, that I don't work and I'm dedicated 100% to my family and my kids, I feel like we can play different roles. So when I'm with my friends, I would dress up. I would, I'm not mommy today. Let's not talk, even though I love them, but let them be home. So I feel like taking that time too, so that we can remember how we look all dolled up and cute. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when you're home all the time, you even forget, not forget, but you neglect this area of your life that is also important. You want to get pretty. You want your significant other to be like, oh, okay. Look at you all put together. So
yeah, and it's so good to have a support system.
Yes, I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have made it, like going through all this, going through everything that I went through, having my friends, my close friends, being there supportive has been a blessing. I'm very grateful and thankful for each of them, and they know who they are.
So, were you always taking care of yourself before?
I have always, I thought at some point that, like I said, going to the gym was taking care of myself. Going to the gym, it is taking care of yourself, but it depends. Like, when you have kids with special needs, you have a lot going on. You're always on the go. I had therapists coming in and out. There were times that I'll be in the supermarket and the therapist will be like, I'm ringing the doorbell, I'm here. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot that you were coming today. Because having therapists for both boys in the house, there were times that I'll go to appointments and they'll ask, what is Dariel's date of birth? I will give Dariel's birthday and Alvin's year. So it's difficult.
Mm-hmm. What was your experience like with the therapists?
Great. I always had a good therapist coming in, and the main thing is working together. Because if the therapist come home and the parents are not on the same page with the therapist, you're not going to get the best results.
Mm-hmm.
Once the therapist is out, the child would easily forget the purpose, the reason why the therapist was here.
Yeah. And parents know their kids best. You guys are the experts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are. Mm-hmm.
So what's been a big priority for you when parenting?
Nutrition and autism is beyond important. The difference that it could make when you make changes in the diets of the children.
Yeah.
I'm saying it because my kids, both of them, they were so picky with their food. Dariel would come to the kitchen holding his nose because he didn't like the smell of whatever I was cooking. He would only eat junk food and snack after snack, and Alvin the same way. And I'm like a police in my house when it comes from at least Monday to Thursday. I tell them we have to eat the same thing that I cook, everybody eats. So slowly I've been cutting the junks in their food, and I'm introducing the whole food because I truly believe that food is much more than food. Food is love, food is information, food is medicine. And when we see it like that, because I also love to cook. I love to cook for other people, like to have people coming over. Oh, that is one of the things that I enjoy most, to be in service, to show love through food, to talk about food and how beneficial it is for us to be mindful when we're in the supermarket. Are you spending too much inside the aisles in the supermarket? That's where the no good food is. When you go food shopping, go around the clock, that's where you have the produce, the fruits, the good stuff. I've always tried to make healthy choices when it comes to my food, but ever since I lost my stomach too, and that I'm more in tune with my body and my health and my well-being, I'm like watching over the kids. What are you doing? What are you eating? No, we're not going to eat this today. We're going to stick to eating real food. And Dariel and Alvin, is the change that I've seen on their behavior, on their skin. They also say that what you eat in private shows in public. So to be honest, Rachel, to see them eating real food, it's like I'm winning. It's like sometimes it's like the smallest thing, like for us parents, smallest thing could cause so much joy, and we celebrate it. Like, oh my God, Alvin is eating carrots. Are you serious? Like, I'll tell my husband, can you believe that he ate carrots today? We have to keep on buying carrots, and it would make like such a big deal about it. We're like, Alvin, and I would tell my daughter, and I'm like, Alvin ate carrots? Alvin, we start celebrating it for him, and he likes it. And by him seeing that we're praising him so much, that would make him eat more carrots.
Yeah.
And that has been a thing, with the pandemic, having them home more time and being able to work with them more closely, I've been able to introduce more healthy food into their diet. And I've also been able to have them exercise. Dariel used to spend so much time inside his room. now Dariel is exercising because I have a mini gym in my garage. So to me, to think back and see Dariel how he was and how right now he's letting me train him. He's eating my vegetables. Like at some point in my life, Rachel, I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt like, how about me? I'm just, because I'm not working. I'm totally dedicated to my children. That's when, before I would say, oh, I would like to get a job, or I would get dressed up and be ready to go every day, put on my makeup, go out there in my heels. And I would feel bad sometimes thinking about the fact that that was not what I was doing, that maybe that I wanted to experience that. But as I continue to do my everyday thing with my children, I enjoy it. I love waking up every day to make them breakfast. I love baking for them, because if my son loves cookies and muffins, and I read the label and I see everything that is on those cookies and muffins, and I know that if you buy an Oreo and if you put her in a mason jar and you leave it there for 2 years, it's gonna look the same. So imagine what it does to your body by eating the Oreo. But if you bake the cookie with the good ingredients, you know what your kid is eating. And I'm not saying by no means that I'm not going to let them eat a chocolate chip cookie or an Oreo if they want to do it on a random day. But I'm mindful. I'm mindful about what goes in their system, If I can get in my phone and get a recipe for something that I know that is going to be good for them, I'm going to do it with so much love and joy to see that they like it. And I'm like, Alvin doesn't eat the yolk of the egg. He would eat the egg whites. But if I can add that yolk to a muffin mix, I'm like, he has no idea. He's eating almond butter, or he's eating yolk from an egg. And these things are good for him. So I feel like there's always a way. And if you want to help your kid, like sometimes even with autism, we see the kids acting certain way. They're so hyper, they can't focus. And right away, a lot of parents, they take them to the doctor. The doctor gave them a prescription. They start taking the medication. So it's like the medication and the diet together would create behaviors. And then we might think, oh, it's due to the autism, but it might be due to the lifestyle. So if we do changes in the nutrition, we might see changes in behavior.
Yeah. I mean, we normally don't talk about nutrition on this podcast because I just want to stay away from kind of pseudosciences and misinformation. But I do agree with what you're saying about processed food and sugar as a general rule needing to be cut out. And I've seen a difference also in my own body when I've started to eliminate some of those things. And my husband is the chef in our house. So I'm lucky that he cares about eating well too. And so he's always making sure that we're eating whole food and things like that.
That's so important, Rachel. That is so important. And to be honest with you, if you ask me what are 2 things that I enjoy the most, it's going to the supermarket and, buying my whole food and preparing food for my family. And if you can add a 3rd thing, that'll be the gym.
All right, Maggie, I'd like to close with one last question. What advice would you give to other parents?
My advice to other parents would be to listen to your child, listen to them, and be patient. Have acceptance. Because if you accept it, you embrace it. If you embrace it, every day you would find a way to make things happen with less friction, with less stress, and take care of yourself and listen to your body. I know we didn't talk much about my illness, but like I mentioned to you, I was diagnosed with gastric cancers. I lost my stomach to the cancer, and I don't really know what caused the cancer to begin with. But I do believe that our body, sometimes we are so busy doing things and trying to do more than what we can. And our body takes notes of everything. Everything that we might be young, we feel that we can do this, we can do that, but, our body works in our favor for a period of time. But if you abuse it, or if you neglect it, because there's so many areas that we need to, when it comes to our health, our well-being, is what are we eating? Are we sleeping? Are we in movement? Because I feel like by having the lifestyle that I have, that I love to exercise, it had helped me so much bounce back from this illness like the way that I did. And continue to live and be able to care for my kids, even though I'm still struggling keeping up with my health. But I know that my body is my card. So if I see a red light, right away I stop. I don't ignore it. I'm like, what's going on here? Because I know that my kids, our kids, they depend so much on us. And in order for us to be there and do the best that we can for them, first we have to take care of ourselves the best that we can. And sometimes we just have to take that moment, a few steps back, and be able to look at ourselves from another perspective. It's like you're so busy doing so much, but relax yourself, look at what you're doing. Is it time to slow down? Is it time to not do the dishes? Is it time for just drink your coffee? Drink your coffee, drink your tea, take deep breath, read a book, meditate. Say no to some invitations if you feel that staying home would be more relaxing.
Yeah.
Now I'm able to look at my past self, and I was doing so much. I was doing so much. And I was okay while I was doing it. I was perfectly fine. But there was no need. There was no need. So if you're the mom that you're doing too much, you might not see it, but somebody tells you, believe them. You are doing too much. And if you need help, don't be shy about accepting it, because I've been the one who, if I ask somebody for a favor or for help, it's because I really, really need that favor. Because I'm the type that if I can do it all, I'm going to do it all. But I've learned. So now I'm taking it more easy.
Oh, yeah, that's good to hear.
That would be my advice.
Sorry, Maggie, just a follow-up question. If you don't have a stomach, how do you eat?
Well, they connect the esophagus to the small intestine. So that becomes like a tube, which in time would expand. But at first, let's say it's like if I drink water, I have to drink it, take my time. I cannot drink the water like how I used to, because I would faint or something would happen to me, because this is like a straw now.
Okay.
Yes. So now I have to I have to relearn how to eat.
I see.
It's been challenging, but I feel like in life you get used to everything.
And cancer is gone, so
Cancer is
that's
gone.
great news. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm able to do everything that I was doing before.
Mm-hmm.
Drink my water really fast. How about you?
Yeah. It's probably not good for anyone anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
I should talk to Alvin. He does that all the time.
Mm.
It's like my daughter would say to me, Mommy, don't worry. When I become famous, I'm going to get somebody to write a book about your life, because I feel like I've been through so much in life, and, with the kids, with my own life. When I came to this country, I didn't go to school back in Dominican Republic. So it's like I skipped. I didn't go to third grade, 4, 5, 6, and they jumped me to 8th grade in here. So not knowing English, not knowing Spanish, I managed to go to high school. I got my high school diploma. I went to college for a year and a half, but then I had my daughter. My daughter is not my husband's biologically child. Her father passed away, Samantha's father, when she was a year. I was not together with him, but it was still a traumatic event.
Mm.
So, and I feel like I've been jumping hoops all of my life. And then, trying to move around, trying to find a good school system for the boys. We've never really have taken time to go on vacation, because it's always something. So when we finally found the time to go on vacation and go to Florida, that's when I got the diagnosis of cancer. And it's like, can we get a break? But now, I feel that I was able to recover from my illness. The kids are doing great. My husband and I now, to be honest, we have the best relationship now than we ever had. And it's funny. It's crazy, because we've been together for 20 years. We met at the gym, and we still go to the gym together. And we not all the time, because it's always working, but we have the best workout. So you see, when the kids are okay, we're okay. But if there's so much unbalance on needing the services and but it's under control, and it's been like that for a while, and I'm embracing everything, and I feel so grateful, beyond grateful for everything.
Yeah. All right, Maggie. Well, how can people learn more about you? Do you have social media you'd like to share?
I do have Instagram. It's MAGG _23. And my email is Samadari, SAMADARY30 @yahoo.com.
Great. All right. Well, I'll put that in our show notes if people want to get in touch with you.
Oh, thank you, Rachel. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for being open with us and sharing your story.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for tuning in to Autism Knows No Borders. We've all heard the saying, you can't fill from an empty cup. Oftentimes, parents and caregivers have so much on their plate that they tend to put everyone else's needs before their own. Burnout and stress can lead to serious physical and mental health problems, let alone compromised care for loved ones. As Maggie suggested, one way to avoid getting overwhelmed is to set boundaries and know when to ask for help. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with one person who you think will find value in it too. By doing so, you'll be helping our mission to improve access to autism services around the world. Thanks for listening. Take care.